Hello all, again, another day, another live stream. Let me just set everything up. Okay. So, let me just check here what we have to do here. So let me just place something here. Hello. And a... Okay. Now it's all set to go. So, hello. Today we are going to do a little drawing of the Cell Junior from Dragonball. And for that we are going to use our trustworthy machine, tattoo machine, for the Dragonhawk Fold Pro Ear of the Horse, with a 2.5mm stroke right here, with 5 volts, around 5 volts. It could be a little higher or lower, but it will be around 5 volts. And using for that a ballpoint pen cartridge, so we can actually tattoo on paper, right? So it's on, and let's start it. Okay, I usually almost always tend to start from top to bottom, and starting also on the darkest area, sorry. And since here we'll have like a really dark area, we'll start right here, right? Let's go then. Also, you can keep me company. You can actually say something on the comments. It will just help me go through today's live, just to make it a little bit more interesting. It's always more fun when we get to talk a little bit alongside with the drawing. That's what actually happens also on tattooing. I always prefer when we can talk a little bit more. At least for me, it's more fun and people feel a little bit more comfortable. So if you want to, feel free to do so. You can talk here, not only about the drawing itself, but if you want to just say something or talk a little bit of your life, feel free to do so. Okay, starting out on the inner ear. I guess this is like not like a near ear, but well. And now going for these little spots. That's what almost someone can tell that's actually cell, right? It's for the spots. This should be all blacked out. And how's your Friday going? Now we are going to start working here on this more reflexive area, and for that we are going just to establish here a little highlight that we are not going to touch, so we can make a really cool contrast here. And also around here you'll have like a really harsh highlight, and we also won't get to touch this little border. Okay. And besides this, we are going to stipple almost everything. This, since it's a really high reflexive area, we are going to leave it. So now let's go starting to do like a small light layer. We could just start like filling in some areas, because some of the areas are going to be really black, but I always prefer by start doing this, like starting with a light layer and then just after that going through the rest, right? Okay. So here we will have really dark. Start cross hatching. Just refining here the edge so we don't lost it. Okay. The same here. Darken out the whole thing. Darkening out the whole area almost. And here, within this little space of highlights, We are just going to lightly spread some couple of dots. Okay, just like that, so we don't overwork the area. Also from here. Okay, now we can establish here the outline. Okay. Later on, if we feel that this area should be more denser or a little bit darker, we can go back here and do so. For now, let's just leave it as that. Okay. Now continuing here on these spots, he has like a lot of spots to to fill. We are starting to fill in these spots beforehand the shading, so we don't lose the reference. Let me just check if everything is okay around here on the streaming side of things. Yeah, it sounds like yes. Okay, so let's keep going. This part is a little bit boring, having to shade all these little areas. But in the end, that's what is going to... Hello from North Carolina. Nice, nice. Hello, Darrell. I'm here from Portugal, so... Do you enjoy Dragon Ball? Or enjoyed, I don't know, as a kid or... I remember like growing up when I was a kid and rushing towards the TV on I guess it only featured like here in Portugal like in Sundays. Well, it's not properly a pen, it's a tattoo machine. It's a tattoo machine with a Stippling ballpoint pen. Okay, this is almost the same as a needle cartridge, but instead of having needles inside, it has like a tip of a regular pen, and it just follows the same movement and, let's say, instinct, well, as a regular machine, a regular tattoo machine, because I'm using that. I'm using one, so. And the point here is just to practice and creating content, of course. It was like my resolution for New Year's, like practice every day, even when I have like a full day of tattoo bookings, even then practicing. What did I make? The machine? Well, of course I didn't make the machine. The cartridge themselves, they are available for sale. These are used to these are mostly used to get people learning when they are starting to tattoo. To people learn, but now I figured like this could give like a really nice medium to start creating, and it has like the plus side of you being in charge of what you tattoo, let's say. It's not, obviously it's not a proper tattoo, but since most of my work it's mostly my tattoo work, it's mostly commercial, I get this to at least do something I really enjoy, you know. When I say commercial, it's like fine line stuff, like not proper drawings, let's say that. The machine itself was gifted to me from a company, from Dragonball themselves, so I try it out and review it. Okay. Yeah, no problem at all. And by the way, did you enjoy it as well, Dragonball? I guess almost everyone, every kid, at least there on the 90s, enjoyed it. And here we'll have like a really high highlight, and we are not going to touch it. I will just go to mark it here. Oh, I was asking if you used to enjoy, or if you still enjoy Dragon Ball. Now going for a really light shade. Okay. What was your favorite character there? Do you have any? Sorry? Oh, okay. If I touch people or just yeah. I'm a tattoo artist. I'm a tattoo artist. But this thing I'm doing here is just, as I said before, it's part of my New Year's resolution, let's say that. I'm trying to build a proper YouTube channel, and at the same time practicing. And since, as I said before, since most of the work I do is commercial, that's not like the proper work I like to do. I use this to work on stuff I do like. Trauma. After a while, that will cause trauma. In what case? I don't know. In what scenario? And trauma to whom? In this case, we are tattooing, let's say, on paper. There's no trauma here. Okay? Yeah, you can check it out. My Instagram is anxious_pokes. You can check it out. Now being really careful here on these cast shadows. But yes, you guys can, if you guys are interested, I don't know, but if you are, you can check my Instagram. It's anxious_pokes, and there you'll have my some of my tattoos. Obviously, I don't post everything, but there's some stuff done there. So. No, no. This is a cartridge ballpoint. It's a ballpoint pen cartridge. It's similar to a cartridge needle, but instead of having needles, it has like a tip of a ballpoint pen. Okay. But yeah, I guess if we were talking about similarities, I guess it could be, yeah, close, like a 5 RL or a 7. Yeah, it could be close. I would like to try this with finer tips, but there are not a lot of this, not a lot of variety, and the only stuff that's there with some variety are really from China, and well, it just takes a while to arrive. I have there's a company called Inklo. It's from China, and they have like a this kind of stuff, these like ballpoint pen cartridges with different sizes, like a tip, a 0.5 millimeter, 0.7 and a 1 millimeter. Yeah, you can 3D print, no, of course. You can 3D print the cartridge. And you also, I seen a while ago, like a tattoo machine, all 3D printed. So, yeah, you can do it. Eventually, okay, of course, the mechanisms you can't properly 3D print them, okay, but the outside, yes, for sure. I don't need to, because, well, I have plenty of, fortunately I have plenty of tattoo machines, so I don't properly need to go that way, but of course you can. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's appreciate. I really appreciate it. As I said before, I'm trying to to get into the YouTube partner program. So every sub, every view, even if you stay there a little bit more, talking to me and watching, that still helps. And also, I'm an open book. If you have any kind of question, I'm more than happy to answer. If I know, of course. I don't know everything. But if I happen to know, and if you have any question, feel free to ask it. I really don't agree with the gatekeeping stuff that actually many tattoo artists do. Many tattoo artists just gatekeep, and that is not just, that's not good for anyone actually. Since I came from YouTube, and I learned a lot from YouTube, not only on tattooing but really other stuff. I share like the feeling that it's really positive of people to share knowledge. And actually what is a little bit sad in the tattoo world is that a lot of people gatekeep. They know their stuff, they simply don't share it. And well, at least for me, that's just sad. So it's coming out. I'm happy how it's turning out for now. Here in the face we have to be really careful because the space is really minimum. And this tip is not that small, so we have to be really careful with every single touch we almost do, you know. Other areas are a little bit more chilled, but at least here on the face. What? Where are you from? Okay, 5 a.m. Okay, it's well, I'm here in Portugal. Here it's 11 a.m. But minus 26 degrees. Come on. Here is, for me, is chilly, and guess what? It's like 8 degrees, positive 8 degrees, and I'm cold. Goddamn, minus 26, central Minnesota. It just gave me the chills right now. Well, tell me something. Like, for instance, if it's there, since you are in a place with, obviously, that goes way down on the temperature, when it's like minus 10 degrees or minus 20, it's almost the same, right? Like, do you feel a real difference? Like, in this case, like minus 10 and minus 20? Because I guess, like, probably you reach like a spot that it's cold, so eventually you won't feel like that difference. I don't know, it's just a curiosity I have, because I guess the lowest I went was like, here in Portugal was like, what, minus 2 degrees. Hell yeah. Hello, Alex. I said it. Yeah, that's what I thought. It comes like a spot that no matter what the temperature is, like your body almost don't even feel the difference, right? Yeah, Alex, I told you yesterday on live I was thinking on what I was going to do, and yeah, I decided on Cell Junior, just to give a little break from Pokemon. Yeah, if probably in his mega evolution. Yeah. No. Found it on Pinterest. Since it's for practice only, for me at least, there's no problem at all. If I was to tattoo this, of course, I wouldn't use Pinterest on that fashion. like copy paste, you know. But since, well, this is just like an exercise, you know. Yeah. I never went, Starkey. I never went to USA, but yeah, I guess that could be really beautiful. And there in central Minnesota, yeah, I guess that will be really awesome, no doubts about it. And if I'm doing client, yes, I will on the afternoon. So here now it's 11 a.m. But on the afternoon around 2 p.m. I'll have client work. But well, as almost always, that's those really small stuff like names and like small like ornaments and whatnot. And that's why I enjoy this so much. So I can pick up stuff that I really like. Like for instance, I started this doing like only stuff that I designed. Okay. But I was feeling that it wasn't a little bit. No, no way. I went there a couple of times already, yes, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful and frightening at the same time. You don't even. Have you ever went there or no? Like well, you have to see it really, because it's like almost something supernatural, you know, like seeing big bodies of water, like a huge body of water coming towards you, you know, even when you are like up high. Yes, I'm a good swimmer, but not to go there. Like you have to be almost mad to go there and swim. Swim on your own, right? Right, with no help or no backup. That's, you have to be mad. Because the probability of the waves pushing you towards the open sea, it's huge. So here there's a little more detail, and you have to be really careful with these small areas here and there. Yeah, no. I do not know how to surf. It was never like a thing that I enjoy a lot the sea and the ocean. I really like it, but surfing was never like something I don't know why. I guess that's viewed. I think that's something like across the world. but it's like viewed as a as some like cool hipster stuff to do, and I was never on that lane. Yes, right now. Yeah. No, I grew up near the ocean, actually. Um, my dad's my family house was like 5 minutes walking towards to get to see the ocean. Yeah, and I enjoyed it a lot growing up, because you simply just, well, I'm just going for a walk, and 5 minutes later you are on the beach. All right. And that's really something. And then I went to, I'm in Porto right now. I'm from Porto. And after that I went to live in Lisbon for 10 years. And there in Lisbon there's not that many, there's not that much that culture of near the sea, you know, like that's only like on summer, and the rest of the year people usually don't even go near the sea. And I got used to to do that, right? When I was younger, I will, even in winter times, I just went there like to take, like the bars are all open, and I just went there like at least to take a coffee or what. And I got used to that, and I missed it a lot when I went to Lisbon. That was the thing that I missed the most, because there, like only on summer you get those bars open, and then of course those bars are open and they are crowded, obviously. And it's really cool, like you go into, like in the winter, going to a bar with a sight to the sea, right? And even like raining and whatnot, and you just see like those huge waves. That's really soothing. No, not that really. Those big waves on Nazaré, they just happen because, I don't know if you know that, but because there's like a geological specific thing there on the rocks. There's like a crack that made that thing happen, made those huge waves happen. But yeah, in my area, no, they are just they are normal waves. But of course, when it's stormy or like a really bad winter day, of course the waves are big, but not as big as those. Those are like monstrous. Well, yeah, we do have storms, but no, not those kind of storms that you guys have there on the USA, you know. Not those storms that like lift entire houses. Also, well, also our building system is a little bit different from yours, but even there we don't have that many of those huge storms. The weather here is more calm, is more moderate all over the year. Now dealing here with some highlights, and I don't want to shade this all black, so it gives a little bit of a texture. Alright. Yes, they are. All of them. Like just now they are starting to experience some houses in woods, but that's not like the main type of construction. That's very few people using that. No, I drew it. This is pencil. It's not the picture itself. It's not original for me, but yeah, I drew it. Sharp. No, if you actually notice it like clearly, it's really a little bit messy, but all I need here is really some markings. I don't need like the full thing, because I have I have the reference right here on the tablets. So yeah, just like that. Yes, I just don't want to make too many noise around the whole design, so I just focus on doing like a single line. If not, I couldn't properly understand the drawing itself, so there are markings here that not it's not here, right? So I'm just doing them along as I draw right now. Like for instance, like the highlights marking weren't here, so just need to draw those more or less. They don't have to be perfect, of course. No. I used to work mainly with the chefs, like in food-related content. Okay, that was the main thing I used to do. I really loved doing that. For me, it was really cool. Had some brand deals from different types of food, rice, whatnot, and yeah, that was fun because also there we can explore different ways of shooting things. They are a little bit more creative. Like commercials are here, at least here in Portugal, are just for a few bunch of people that have almost all the all the knowledge between the right circles, let's say that way. You have to have that knowledge of the right people and the right circles. And yeah, if they have a, well, not properly macro lens, I do have like a 50mm lens from Leica that I use on my GH5, and it can get really close. I have a GH5, the Panasonic GH5. I have a Canon what's the 77D. It's like for my like B-roll and stuff, but my main camera is the GH5. Well, it's not for B-roll, it's like for like a secondary camera if I need. But I really enjoy the GH5. Like for video, at least for me, the Panasonic GH family, let's say, for me it's like the best cameras. Well, I have this camera for a while now, because, well, I never actually update it, because since I've been tattooing for quite a while, as a full-time job, I never felt the need to update my camera. Eventually, here and there, I still have some gigs. They're still like old old contacts that reached me to do small stuff. But I don't even have the my Instagram portfolio. since I don't want to come that way, so yes, I can, because you know it's a 50mm lens, but the GH5 it has a crop factor of 2, because it's a micro four thirds lens camera. So in reality, comparing to a 35mm, we are not talking of a 50mm, we're talking like a 100mm lens. That's why. Like for this recording here, for this live stream, I'm using a 12mm lens. And like a 12mm lens in a body, in a 35mm body, would be absurd. It will capture like almost the whole room. But since as I said, this is a crop factor of 2, it actually gives me like a pretty decent range. It goes for a 24mm. And for this, at least for me, that's perfect. The camera doesn't need to be so far away, nor too close. That's a good spot. Now drawing those highlights. Yeah, I have a Osmo Pocket, yeah. That's some fun little camera, and since it has already like a gimbal system there, it's interesting. But since I don't do properly like vlogs or anything like that. Hello, Shanghai. That actually doesn't have that much use to me. However, I seen that DJI came up with a real interesting camera, like the how it's called, like the, I guess it's the Osmo Nano. I think it's Osmo Nano, and it sounds really interesting, even for recording like tattoos that could be clipped on your shirt or sweater. It felt, I seen something, and I seen the ads and some reviews, and it felt really promising. But I'm always like a little bit on the defensive there within action cameras, because, well, when you know that it won't offer you that for quality as a regular DSLR, right? So. No, I don't. I don't have a motorbike. I never was on a motorbike, nor driving, nor on the passenger side. No, Gibraltar, it's not in Portugal, it's in Spain. But I never been there, no. I think it's interesting there. As like the connection between, it's a small, really small piece of land, let's say that. But I think it's interesting, like the connection between Europe and Africa. Seeing that connection so close, it will be fun. Let me just adjust here the. Oops. Okay. So this is taking too long, honestly, to do. There's so much to. So many little stuff. Here is some highlights. No. As I said, Gibraltar is in Spain. And in Portugal, you can see Africa. You can't. Even in Algarve, that's the southest of Portugal. You don't see Africa. I like that, the Christiana's Island, as if it was his island. No. Actually, no. I've been around Europe quite a bit, but never went to Madeira actually. Nor Açores. That's something eventually I want to go with my kids, but never gone there. That's the thing, right? Like you most likely go to other places besides your own backyard, right? Like I went several times to, I don't know yet how many times I went to Spain, to England, to the Netherlands, Milan, France, but yeah, Madeira, that's inside Portugal, that belongs to Portugal, let's say. Never went, nor such. Well, of course, he has serious money, of course, but yeah, we are talking about like buying a piece of land that's from another country that is not viable. People from Madeira could request their independence, yes, they could do it. They don't want to, but they could. because obviously it's a small island and they largely depend on the continent, on Portugal, but they could ask for independence, but someone going there and buying it, well, that's not the same thing. Yes, it's nuts. It's nuts. It just gives you that strength, that mentality, that like you can be from anywhere else in the world, and you can, if you work that hard, and obviously also have a little bit of luck, of course, right? That's not only work, but if you work that hard, you can eventually reach something like that. Like almost everyone in the world knows who Cristiano Ronaldo is, right? And that's a level of recognition that's insane. Well, more or less. Like, it's pretty cheap to live in Portugal. I mean, it's pretty cheap. Eventually, I don't know, for like an American. For Portuguese people, it's not cheap at all. It's becoming way more and more expensive to live here. But for people from the rest of Europe, it can be like, if you come here to Portugal, it doesn't matter if it's Madeira or Portugal really, if you can come here and keep earning from your country, from the States, and you work like remotely, you can get a really, really nice lifestyle. And things are not as expensive. Here the main problem is housing, but that's what I said, like for people around like Americans or Europeans. When I mean Europeans is like the Central Europe, right? So that's pretty cheap. It used to be agriculture, yes, it used to be, but since we joined the European Union, there's a lot less work on agriculture. There's also, of course, a lot of fishing, because obviously of the connection to the sea. But I guess tourism is the biggest one, no doubt. And eventually after that, I don't know, probably oil oil, not olive oil. Yeah. Actually, I don't know that. I don't know that. If that's true, yeah, I didn't knew that. Well, it kinda... I don't want to know that it makes sense because, well, if you own a house, it's yours, right? But if people are struggling with housing issues, the government has to do something about it, you know? That's not, in my opinion, that's not like the perfect solution, but it has to have a solution anyway. Like here in Portugal, things are getting a lot problematic in that way. Here in Portugal and in the world, I guess, like that's not like a Portuguese problem. That's more deeper than that. Yeah. I can't say that loud. I had to I had to correct myself. If not, we could get the risk of getting Trump invading us for our oil. And yeah, it's not oil, it's olive oil. Just a joke. But you were saying about the things on Netherlands. Well, if you see, like at least here, I don't know how it happens like in the States, but here in Portugal, if you like, I own a house, okay? This house is mine. I bought it. Well, me and my wife, we bought it. And supposedly it's mine, right? But there's a tax we have to pay yearly, every year, to the government. So we can keep the house, okay? If we don't pay that tax, that yearly tax, the house that it's ours, it's going to the States, okay? So I can't really say that I have a house, because yeah, I have a house in one condition, and it's to keep paying to the States, because if not, if I miss a couple of payments, I don't own anything. I don't know if that happens there as well. Like if you own something, like it's just yours and final, or I don't know. Well, for instance, like here, my house is like an apartment, okay? But for example, my father, my parents, they have their own house, like real house, not apartment. And also, of course, they own the lands. Yeah, but it's also the same. Doesn't matter if it's a house or an apartment. It's the same. They still have every year to pay an amount, and that amount will vary depending on the dimension of the house, then the land, and what do you have. For instance, if you do have like a swimming pool, you will pay much more than just a simple house. And if you have like a backyard, like a large backyard, you will pay much more than if it's just a house. So there's those extras that will increase everything. Like if it's just like the house, probably you are talking around like 200 euros annually. Okay, but it could go much more than that. And obviously for me that feels like a scam, because like you do like a huge effort to buy a house, and then if it happens to miss, if you go through a rough couple of years or a rough period, and you don't have the money to keep paying, well, you just don't have the house anymore. And of course that feels like a scam. For me, like, it's a tax that it's absurd. Yeah. But for instance, do you have property taxes? But that's like annually also, or monthly, or it's like periodic as well? What happens if it's periodic like that? What happens if you don't pay? Now just finishing this leg. Now let's go for the last bit for the arm. Let's start here on the hands. and here just a really small shade. Okay, the same here. Here you have a little bit more contrasty feel. Just placing some dots, scattering around. Okay. Okay. So what have you found? Yeah. Yes, that's what I thought as well. Yeah. That's some bullshit, honestly. It's like you own a house, you buy a house, you own the house, you own the land, and well, if you are going through a rough time or a rough couple of years, then you have nothing. Yes. Yes, it's the same here in Portugal as well. You don't have to pay it like fully. But as I said, that simply just don't make sense. That kind of text. That doesn't make sense at all. Well, that we don't have that much to complain here in Portugal, because our social services are pretty decent overall. The public hospitals, our public schools, like my kids are both in public schools, and they are pretty good. The food is great. The food, I might argue like the food there is even better than in some private schools, or the most private schools. Let's talk like that. But well, we also pay a lot of taxes overall, so. But that's the thing that I honestly don't argue, because okay, if someone says okay, you have to pay like 50% or 40% of taxes, and you'll have like a very decent health services, education, proper education, public education and whatnot. I'm fine for it, because well, at least I think that way. Like for me, okay, I can pay up for a private hospital or a private school, but there are people that can't, right? There are people that can't pay that, so, and they shouldn't be undermined, and they shouldn't be less than the others that can pay, right? They should have like the same opportunities. At least it's my opinion, it's my point of view of things. Especially kids, like kids are not they can't be blamed for their fathers, their parents doesn't having like a good life, or some life they can afford everything. They shouldn't be blamed for that, right? They should have like the same principal cares, those essential cares, right? Like health and education. They should be able to get those as well, and in a nice way. Yeah, it's Carlos. Like for instance, I give you an example. My girlfriend, she's not my wife. She's a long-term girlfriend. We never married. We never felt the need for that. But she's diabetic. Carlos. But yeah, I was saying, she's diabetic, like type 1 diabetic. She needs insulin to survive, to live. And since we are in Portugal, she doesn't pay anything for their for things related to her to that side, to that health issue, you know. And I see, like when she goes to the pharmacy to get the insulin and the other stuff. Yeah, I'm 37. She's now 35, but she got diabetes type 1 when she was 21. It's like it came from the family. It wasn't due to bad habits, bad alimentation habits. It came directly from family. And when I go like to the pharmacy, and I'm shocked, like I see, like, because it's there, like the amount, the costs of everything, and it's like in one sitting, like just for 1 month and a half maybe, it's like almost 1,000 euros just on that. And I was like, God damn, imagine if you would have to pay for all this. It will, well, she would go bankrupt, you know? And just to be able to survive, just to live. And that's insane, right? Like, and for that, I'm more than happy to pay the huge amount of taxes we pay, honestly. Not just because of her, but in general, you know, like, there's a lot of people in the same situation or similar situations, and that's good that the country do something for them. Just going to brush a little bit of light tones underneath here, just so this is not like completely white. Okay. Now let's go for the arm. First of all, let's fill all these little spots. Let me just check if everything's okay here on the stream side of things. Yeah, it seems like. Okay, all the spots done. Now doing here some marking here and highlights. Here as well. Okay. And now it's almost filling the whole area. Okay. Yeah, I didn't knew that. I didn't knew that, honestly. And it's supposed to... Okay, that's cool. That's a cool idea. Do you know like any people doing that? Okay. It could be interesting, yes. No, I can't complain that much, honestly, because nowadays, like in these recent days, it's coming up really good for me, at least. People are joining in. I'm having like a really good numbers, but it doesn't hurt to have always a little bit more. Right? Yeah, I do use Discord. Not as much as probably most people do. I have a Discord account and I have like a Discord server that I built like a couple of days ago, but it's empty. And honestly, I also don't have that much time to go there and try to get things properly running, you know, because it's already like a lot. It's like it's this, it's the lives, it's work, it's family, so it's already like a lot of stuff to deal with. Hola, Carly Martinez. Muchas gracias. Well, yeah, I don't play games. I honestly don't play games. I understand who does it, and it's cool to be able to rest after days of work and whatnot. But after I was like, I used to play, of course, like when I was a kid, but after that never played like a proper game, let's say. Like I have those like those cell phone games where you just like do like those almost quick games just to get past some, I don't know. Yeah, on the phone, yes. On PC, no. I don't have any game installed. But in the phone, yes, I have those like I don't know how this even, I don't know how it's called really. Like Match Masters. It's like a simple and like quick game just for those occasions when I just, for instance, I'm waiting on clients, or I just have to wait somewhere else, or well, just to pass the time a little bit. But I don't play like in that mentality of like winning, and it's just for get past, so to help get past up the time, you know. The only thing actually I play a little bit is with my son on Nintendo Switch, and he's also a huge fan of Pokemon, that I pass it to him, the craziness on Pokemon. And yeah, eventually I'll play a little bit with him, but that's just that. Just to keep him a little bit of company. Yeah, yeah, it was that, I guess, yes. Match Masters, yeah. Exactly, Match Masters. I don't even know the proper name. So we are finishing up here. Yeah, no trading card, no, but I started on 2016 the Pokemon Go. That was like the only game I really I really went nuts for it. I started that, but well, I no longer play. I just left it. But that's what I said before, like, I don't have that much time, you know, like, between these lives, the work, family, like, you have to choose something. You can go all in on every angle, right? And that's it. Thank you, Shanghai. It is done. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much. A very special thanks to Alex. Oh, level 27. No. I was on level 50. That was how much I went with it. Thank you very much, Swim. So, it's finished. It's done. Okay, nice. I'll be here tomorrow as well, doing another character. Let's see what we are going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow around the same time, around the same hours as today. So, thank you very much for being there. And a very special thanks to Alex for being there, talking to me almost the whole live. I'm going now, having some lunch and preparing for the afternoon.